Healing often begins where old hurt meets new understanding. A long-awaited breakthrough is possible, but the path there may require patience, reflection, and a willingness to change course. Support is closer than you think, and the choices you make now could shape the chapter that comes next. Let's see how we get there. Namaste, Witchlings. Welcome, welcome, welcome one and all to Daily Divinations, Witchy Wisdom, and Self-Care. This is where magic meets mindfulness, and we take just a moment to honor the day, listen to the cards, and tend to ourselves along the way. Whether you're returning or joining us here for the very first time, hey, hi, hello, and welcome. I am Di, and I am so very glad you're here. I am your yoga witch and guide, and this is your daily pause for reflection, insight, and care. So go grab your favorite crystal. I am playing with rose quartz today. Light your favorite candle or some incense for that aromatherapy. Settle in with your coffee, tea, or whatever brew fills your mug, and let's go ahead and step into today's wisdom together. Now, if this space resonates, please do the whole like, share, and subscribe shebang because it helps our Witchling community grow. And speaking of growing our Witchling community, if you feel called to go deeper into this community, you can join this channel as a Witchling member. Your support keeps this space alive and thriving, and we would love to welcome you in. We do not have birthdays today, sad face. Got a couple of them coming tomorrow, but that's neither here nor there. Later. So, we are holding our candle for our mod, Andrea, and we are holding her in our hearts as she lives through homelessness. We are keeping John and his loved ones in our hearts, as well as Alyssa, my best friend and partner here, and her family as her husband is over playing in the sandbox. We keep them all in our hearts as they find their way through some really, really difficult times. For my brothers and sisters in arms who are all deployed right now, and as I light this flame, may it shine as a beacon of hope for all of those finding their way through the darkness and the shadows. With the lighting of our candle, our circle is now closed. We invite the ancestors to join us on our adventures. All right, it is now time to take a look at what holidays and observances are popping up for us today. Have we got some fun ones? So we start with our daily holidays. We have Dinosaur Day. Rawr. Dinosaur Day celebrates the incredible creatures that dominated Earth for roughly 180 million years before their extinction about 66 million years ago. From towering herbivores to swift predators, dinosaurs came in an astonishing variety of shapes, sizes, and adaptations, leaving behind fossils that continue to fascinate scientists and the public alike. The day encourages curiosity about prehistoric life, paleontology, evolution, and the ongoing discoveries that help us better understand the ancient world and the origins of modern birds. Next, it is the Global Day of Parents. This day honors the vital role parents and caregivers play in nurturing, protecting, and guiding children. Established by the UN in 2012, the observance recognizes that parents are often a child's first teachers, advocates, and sources of support, regardless of culture, nationality, or background. It is a day to express gratitude for the dedication, sacrifices, and love that help children grow into healthy, capable, and compassionate adults. I love being a mom. And then this is our very first show of June. I could not leave out the fact that it is now Pride Month. Yay! Pride Month celebrates the history, achievements, resilience, and diversity of the LGBTQIA community while honoring the legacy of the 1969 Stonewall Uprising. The first Pride was a riot. Throughout June, communities around the world hold parades, educational events, memorials, and celebrations that recognize both the progress made toward equality and the work that still remains. Pride Month serves as a reminder of the contributions that LGBTQ individuals have made throughout history and promotes visibility, acceptance, and inclusion for all. As a member of the queer community, I honor Pride Month every year and, well, every day. Finally, we had to have this one for the guys. It is Men's Health Month. Now, this month focuses on raising awareness about the health challenges facing men and encouraging preventive care, early detection, and healthier lifestyle choices. The observance highlights issues such as heart disease, cancer, mental health, diabetes, and the importance of regular medical checkups. By promoting education and open conversation about physical and mental well-being, Men's Health Month aims to help men live longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. That, my lovely witchlings, are our holidays and observances for this month. How are you going to weave them into your magic today? Let me know, will ya? And now, my lovely witchlings, it is time to honor our goddess of the day. She is a divine presence to inspire, guide, and walk with us on our adventures. Today's goddess is Carna. Now, Carna is a Roman goddess of health, well-being, and wholeness, watching over both physical vitality and spiritual wellness. She is also the patroness of hinges and doorways, giving her a unique connection to transitions, opportunities, and life's turning points. Through Carna's influence, doors may be open to new possibilities or closed on situations that have run their course, helping us move forward with greater balance and purpose. Her festival was traditionally celebrated with family gatherings, emphasizing the importance of kinship and gratitude for continued health. Romans honored Carna with offerings of beans and pork, foods believed to carry her blessings. Sharing a meal of beans, pork, or bacon today can serve as a symbolic way of welcoming her energies of strength, nourishment, and well-being. Am I the only one now craving baked beans? Those who prefer a vegetarian option can simply enjoy beans while reflecting on health and abundance. Carna is also associated with simple acts of sympathetic magic. To invite new opportunities, stand before a closed door holding a bean and say, "Carna, help this magic begin. My future turns on your hinge. Open the way, starting today." Open the door as you speak the final line, and then place the bean outside in a safe place to attract fresh possibilities. However, to release the past, begin with the door open and say, "Carna, help me leave the past behind. By the spell the situation bind." Away it goes, the door is closed. Place the bean outside and close the door, symbolically leaving old burdens behind as you step into a new chapter. That is our goddess for today, my lovely witchlings. What do we think of her? All right, my witchlings. It is time for the divination portion of today's journey. So go grab your tea, your coffee, your crystals, your emotional support familiar, whatever you need. And let's see what message the cards are screaming at us today, shall we? And we start with our oracle cards. So take a listen and let me know what y'all think of this. We start with learning to forgive. Following forgiveness, we have you didn't mean it. Well, okay. And then last but not least, we have commitment. Learning to forgive, you didn't mean it, and commitment. What do they say all together? Here we go. Learning to forgive arrives as a turning point, asking you to release what has been weighing on your heart. The echoes of "you didn't mean it" still linger, creating tension between what happened and what was intended. There is a growing awareness that understanding the past does not require remaining trapped in it. As old wounds begin to soften, perspective starts to replace pain. What once felt impossible to move beyond now seems worthy of reconsideration, not because the hurt was insignificant, but because carrying it forward has become its own burden. This path leads directly to commitment. The time for hesitation is ending. Whether the commitment is to a person, a decision, a boundary, or your own healing, a choice must be made. The lesson here is that forgiveness is not the destination, it is the doorway that allows you to step fully into what comes next. That, my lovely witchlings, is our oracles for today. What do we think of them? Oh, and now, the tarot. Victory is within reach, but the road forward may not unfold exactly as planned. Delays and detours invite a second look at your next steps, while a steady, grounded presence offers wisdom and support. Sometimes success comes not from pushing harder, but from choosing a wiser path forward. Let's see how we get there. We start with the Six of Rods. Victory over personal problems, a new venture or change of direction, financial or emotional success. Next, the Ace of Rods reversed. Setbacks and delays, waste and need to reconsider plans and ventures. And last but very much not least, we have the Queen of Pentacles. This is a wise, trustworthy person with some strong femme energy, maybe even a counselor. All right, so those are our cards. Let's see what they all say together. The Six of Rods opens the reading with a sense of well-earned progress. Challenges that once felt overwhelming are beginning to lose their grip, making way for victory, recognition, and the confidence that comes from overcoming personal obstacles. Whether the focus has been emotional, financial, or spiritual, there is evidence that your efforts have not been in vain. At the same time, the Ace of Rods reversed serves as a reminder that success rarely follows a perfectly straight path. Delays, frustrations, or unexpected setbacks may create the feeling that momentum has stalled. Rather than forcing an outcome, this card encourages a reassessment of plans. A pause now may reveal a better route forward than the one originally envisioned. Supporting this journey is the steady presence of the Queen of Pentacles. This energy represents wisdom, practicality, and trustworthy guidance. Whether appearing as a counselor, mentor, friend, or an aspect of yourself, the Queen of Pentacles reminds you to stay grounded, nurture what matters most, and trust in a path built on patience rather than haste. That, my lovelies, is our tarot reading for today. What do we think of that? And now let's bring the oracle and tarot together into one clear message, a single solitary stream of guidance flowing through each and every card. Let me know what resonates here, because we're going to combine them all. Learning to forgive begins the journey asking you to loosen your grip on old wounds and reconsider the story you've been carrying. The memory of "you didn't mean it" still lingers, creating a space between hurt and understanding. As perspective grows, so does the realization that healing is less about the past and more about what comes next. The arrival of the Six of Rods suggests that this inner work is already creating change. You are moving toward victory over personal struggles, even if the results are not yet fully visible. Still, the Ace of Rods reversed warns that the path forward may include delays, setbacks, or the need to rethink your plans. Progress is happening, but not necessarily on the timeline you expected. Guiding this process is the Queen of Pentacles, offering grounded wisdom and practical support. Through reflection, patience, and care, learning to forgive transforms into commitment. The choice before you is not whether the past happened, but whether you will allow it to define your future. That is our combined reading, my lovelies. What do we think of it so far? And now, we get our affirmation for today. Our affirmation. I release what no longer serves my growth. I allow wisdom to guide my choices, patience to steady my path, and forgiveness to soften my heart. Even when progress feels delayed, I trust that I am moving forward. I commit to my healing, honor my journey, and welcome the success that comes from staying true to myself. And that, my witchlings, is our affirmation. And that is our divination for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, will ya? Hey, witchlings, let's take a second to step into dietheyogawitch.shop where where magic meets movement. I tripped over my tongue. Where magic meets movement and your growth is supported on and off the mat. This is a space for transformation where yoga and life coaching come together to help you move forward with clarity, confidence, and purpose at a pace your nervous system can actually sustain. Now, alongside your practice, you will find handmade intention-infused jewelry and some Dye the Yoga Witch merch, such as coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. Yes, including some cute goodies for your furry-ass familiars. Witchy Mama couldn't forget them, so we can all carry a little bit of magic with us each and every day. Tarot and Oracle readings are also available when you're seeking insight, and there are a limited number of local services offered to those in the Puget Sound region. But the heart of this space is supporting your daily practice, your growth, and your connection to yourself. If something in your life is shifting, growing, or just asking for some deeper intention, this is your sign. Come explore what we can create together at dietheyogawitch.shop. If you're enjoying this episode and feel called to step just a smidge bit deeper into our coven, please go ahead and tap that join button and become a channel member. There are some awesome perks waiting for all of my witchlings, and membership levels start at just a single $1 a month. How affordable is that, y'all? But if membership isn't in the cards for you right at the moment, please remember that you can still support this channel for free by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and sharing us with a friend. I appreciate all of you and all of your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful you have tuned in, but I'm pretty sure you want to get back to the show. So let's do that. Welcome back to Witchy 101, my witchlings. So, last week we talked all about the closed practices and what is the difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. And today, we are going to shift from talking about practice, the closed practices, to some more of our tools and things that we use here. We're going to talk crystals. Now, this is one of my favorite parts because I am a crystal hoarder. All right. Crystals are one of those topics that can feel just a little bit intimidating, though, when you're first starting out. You walk into a metaphysical shop, and suddenly there are shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves of absolutely beautiful stones. Every one of them has a tiny little card promising something different. We have protection, abundance, intuition, love, grounding, and prosperity. Now, before long, you're standing in the store wondering, do these things actually work? Am I picking the right one? Do I need to memorize all of these correspondences? Am I doing witchcraft wrong if I don't know the difference between 6 different varieties of quartz? Let me put your mind at ease right here, right now. The answer to that is no. One of the biggest misconceptions about crystals is that they're about memorization. Honey, they are so not. They're about, yet again, relationship. Crystals are so much more than pretty rocks. They are allies, they are tools, reminders, and most importantly, they are partners in your practice. When you work with a crystal, you're not handing your power over to a stone. You're creating a relationship between your intention and an object that helps you focus and amplify that intention. Think back to color correspondences and color magic. If you wear red because you want courage, the color itself doesn't magically transform your life. You do. The color simply helps you focus. It reminds you of the energy you're trying to embody. Crystals work much the same way. They become touchstones for our intentions. Little batteries of earth energy that help us stay connected to the work we're already doing. And the beautiful thing is they are so incredibly accessible. You don't need a museum quality crystal collection. You don't need rare stones from halfway around the world. And you do not need a display case full of expensive specimens. Some of the most useful crystals in witchcraft are also some of the most affordable. We have, there it is, clear quartz. We have rose quartz. We have amethyst, and we have black tourmaline, which I don't have one sitting here that I can grab easily. Simple stones that countless witches have worked with for generations. So today, I want to talk about why witches work with crystals in the first place, because understanding the why behind everything makes everything else easier. So let's start with something really fascinating. Literally, every crystal you've ever held formed deep within the earth. Some took thousands of years to develop, some took millions, and they formed under pressure, heat, and conditions that, well, most living things could never survive. Over time, their molecular structures aligned into repeating patterns so stable and precise that modern technology still uses them today. Do you have an analog watch? Quartz crystals literally help keep time in those watches. They help regulate electronics. Their structures are reliable and consistent. So, when witches talk about crystals holding energy, we're not talking entirely in metaphor. Crystals hold patterns, structure, and stability. And those qualities can be useful in our spiritual practices. Each crystal develops its own energetic personality. A piece of black tourmaline feels very different from rose quartz. Rose quartz, let's grab the heart. Rose quartz feels soft, gentle, compassionate. Black tourmaline feels grounding, protective, and solid. Clear quartz feels bright and amplifying. Each one offers a different energetic experience. And when we choose to work with them, we're choosing to align ourselves with those qualities. Now, I need to emphasize something really, really, really important. Crystals do not do the work for you. They are not magic pills or shortcuts, and they are sure as the hell not replacements for action. A crystal will not solve your problems while you sit back and wait. What crystals do is support, amplify, focus, and remind. Years and years ago, during a particularly difficult period of my life, I was in A school, I carried a small piece of hematite in my pocket. Did the hematite cure my anxiety? No, of course not. But every time I'd put my hand in my pocket and touch that cool, heavy stone, it reminded me to breathe. It reminded me to ground. And it reminded me that I was safe. The stone became an anchor for the practices I was already using. Breath work, meditation, and mindfulness, even if I didn't call it mindfulness at the time. That is where the magic lived. Not in the stone alone, not in me alone, in the relationship between us. And that, my friends, is how I encourage you to think about crystals. They are not solutions. They are allies. They are not shortcuts. They are companions doing the work alongside of you. Whether you're carrying a single tumbled stone in your pocket or building an altar filled with crystals, the purpose remains the same. Connection. Connection to your intention, to the earth, and to yourself. Now, perhaps that's one of the reasons crystals remain so popular in witchcraft. They remind us that magic isn't only found in the heavens. It isn't only found in rituals. It isn't only found in ancient books. Sometimes magic is found deep beneath our feet, growing slowly, patiently, and silently, just waiting to be discovered. And that, my lovely, lovely witchlings, is why witches work with crystals. Next time, we're going to talk about how to choose a crystal, how to know when one is calling to you, and why intuition matters far more than memorizing correspondence charts. I'm Di the Yoga Witch, my lovelies, and today we explored the world of crystals, intention, and the deep connection between witchcraft and the earth itself. Remember, crystals are not sources of power that replace your own. They are allies that help you focus, ground, and amplify the work you're already doing. Trust your intuition, my witchlings. Build relationships with the tools that call to you, and never forget that some of the most powerful magic grows slowly, patiently, and quietly beneath your feet. Stay grounded, stay curious, keep the fire burning, and go out and make some good trouble. Until then, namaste, my witchlings. All right, welcome, witchlings, to the self-care segment. This is a gentle reminder that caring for yourself is not laziness, weakness, or selfishness. It is absolutely necessary. So let's take a moment together to talk about rest, balance, boundaries, and the small ways we can care for ourselves today. And now, my witchlings, it is time for our Sanskrit reveal for this week. This week's word is Saucha. It is one of the niyamas found... Saucha is one of the niyamas found within the Yoga Sutras. It is often translated as purity, cleanliness, or purification. But, as with many Sanskrit words, the English translation barely scratches the surface. Because when most people hear the word purity, they immediately think of perfection or getting everything right. They think about spotless homes, flawless habits, perfect deities, perfect spiritual practices, perfect bodies, perfect lives, and white. And witchlings, my darlings, that is not what Saucha is asking of us. Saucha is not perfection, it is clarity. It is creating conditions that support well-being. It is removing what interferes with your ability to live intentionally. At its heart, Saucha asks a deceptively simple question: what no longer serves? Not what once served, not what should serve, and not what somebody else thinks should matter. What no longer serves. And for some of us, that question can be very uncomfortable. Because honestly, most of us carry things far, far, far longer than we need to. We carry old fears, old expectations, old obligations, old stories, and old versions of ourselves. Sometimes we carry them because they once protected us. Other times because they feel familiar. And sometimes because letting them go feels frightening. But familiarity and usefulness are not always the same thing. One of the things I find fascinating about Saucha is that it applies to every level of our lives. It applies to our physical environments, the cluttered drawer we've been ignoring, the closet full of things we haven't touched in years, the pile that keeps growing because we keep telling ourselves, I'll deal with it later. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But Saucha does not stop there. It also applies to our minds. What thoughts are taking up space without offering anything useful? What worries have become permanent residents? What stories do we keep telling ourselves long after they've stopped being true? It applies to our emotional lives as well. What resentments are we still carrying? What grief have we refused to acknowledge? And what responsibilities were never ours to hold in the first place? And perhaps most importantly, and especially for us spoonies, Saucha applies to our energy. Where are we exhausted? Where are we overcommitted? And where are we trying to pour from an empty cup? Because many, many, many people think self-care begins by adding something. Another practice, another class, another routine, another thing to do. But often, self-care begins by removing something. One obligation, one expectation, one source of unnecessary stress. One thing that no longer belongs in the life you are building. Through the heart fire lens, I typically think of Saucha as clearing old ash from a hearth. A fire cannot breathe when it is buried. Eventually, the ash becomes so thick that the flame struggles. Not because the fire is weak or broken, because the fire needs space. It needs air, attention, and care. And sometimes our lives are exactly the same. We don't need to become more. We don't need to try harder. Sure as the hell don't need to carry more. We simply need room to breathe. This week, we're going to explore Saucha through physical, mental, emotional, energetic, and digital clutter. We are going to talk about digital clutter. Gee, I don't know who I might be talking to there. Not because minimalism is the goal, not because productivity is the goal, but because clarity matters. When we clear away what no longer serves, we create room for what does. Room for joy, healing, creativity, rest, relationships, purpose, and room for ourselves. So, as we begin this week together, I want to leave you guys with a question. This is not necessarily one to answer immediately, just one to carry with you. What am I holding on to simply because I have held it for a long time? Sit with that and notice what arises. And remember that releasing something does not mean it was never important. It simply means its work in your life may be complete. May this week bring clarity where there has been confusion. May it bring spaciousness where there has been overwhelm. And may it remind you that making room is sometimes the most sacred act of all. That's our Sanskrit for today, my witchlings. All right. And now it's time for our self-care cards, starting with Namaste. Namaste says, find your center of power. Your power may be in your legs. Some people hold their power in their shoulders or their chest. Perhaps your power is in your core. Look for it. Feel for it. Once you find it, reside in that place with your mind. Let your power grow as big as it wants to and spread all over your body. Reside here for 8 minutes. Once you find your power, you know where to look the next time you need it. Your power will also help you understand how to set up healthy boundaries to help protect it. That is our Namaste for today, my lovelies. And now, this. Anyway. Self-compassion. Self-compassion says a child in need. If a child told you they were a failure because of some small mistake, how might you respond? Can you try the same words and tone for yourself? Self-compassion, witchlings. And now, my witchlings, it is time for the little moment of Zen from the little book of Zen. We have a quote from Virginia Woolf and then a short story-ish. So, Virginia Woolf says, how much better is silence, the coffee cup, the table? How much better to sit by myself like the solitary seabird that opens its wings on the stake. Let me sit here forever with bare things, this coffee cup, this knife, this fork, things in themselves, myself being myself. Virginia Woolf. And then we have the story of Zen and the art of tea. Since the time of Bodhidharma, tea and Zen have been connected. Fittingly, it was one of Japan's first Zen masters, Eisai, who brought tea seeds from China. And it was the Zen student Rikyu who refined the art of tea, Chanoyu, in the 16th century. Like Zen, the art of tea aims at simplification. It consists simply of boiling water, preparing tea, and drinking it. Its spirit conjures up harmony, reverence, purity, tranquility, poverty, solitariness, and it has deeply influenced the arts of flower arranging, pottery, and architecture. The ceremony itself is practiced in a simple thatched hut, the abode of vacancy, The utensils are few and unpretentious, and there is nothing else in the room except, perhaps, an arrangement of flowers or a single painting. No more than 4 or 5 guests can be in the tea room, and they are welcomed by the singing of the kettle. Pieces of iron are arranged inside it to create sounds that suggest a far-off waterfall or wind blowing through pines. An elaborate set of rules dictate how thick green tea is whisked and served, how utensils should be passed and admired, all paradoxically to achieve tea's state of artless art. I am reminded of the tea ceremony in the Karate Kid movie. That, my lovely witchlings, is the little moment of Zen from our little book of Zen. And now, today's blessing. May you find the strength to release what has become too heavy to carry and the wisdom to recognize when a different path is needed. May setbacks reveal hidden opportunities, and may delays grant the clarity that haste could never provide. May trustworthy guidance appear when you need it most, whether through a friend, a mentor, or the quiet voice within your own heart. May your healing be gentle, your choices be grounded, and your future be built upon understanding rather than old wounds. Walk forward with courage, knowing that every step taken in awareness brings you closer to the life you are meant to live. So may it be, blessed be, Namaste, Witchlings. And now, my witchlings, it is time to open our circle. There's a reason I'm hurrying a smidge. All right. It is time to wrap up our show for the day, and so, with the extinguishing of our candle, our circle is now open, and we extend our eternal gratitude to the ancestors for being with us on our adventure today. And that is that. Let's almost there. Quick little reminder that this space does exist solely because of our Witchling community. There are no corporate sponsors here, just shared magic, mutual care, and a whole lot of love. So let's do the whole like, share, subscribe shebang. Join the channel if you have the financial means to do so, and please help us grow our Witchling community by telling a friend all about us. And now it's time to go out there and spread love, spread joy, and spread kindness, because there's already enough darkness and hate and discontent out there in this world. Let each of us choose to be steady lights of love and hope and kindness for those stumbling in the shadows. Be sure your loved ones in all their forms, 2 legs, 4 legs, wings, fur, scales, paws, and claws, know exactly how you feel about them. Time is not a strict progression of cause to effect. It is far more of a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff that moves faster than any of us realize, meaning those last chances to say I love you one last time are not ever guaranteed. Now, if you take only one thing away from everything I say and do here every day and every week, I want it to be that you always, always remember this. You are loved, you are wanted, you are needed, and your purpose on this earth is real and genuine, even if you don't know what it is yet. I didn't figure out why I'm here until I was 45. I love you guys so very much. I hope you all have a fantabulously magical rest of your day or night wherever you are. I will see you all so very soon. Namaste, my witchlings.